Welcome into the End the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Leach along with Jim Goodman as we take a look at the card at Oaklawn Park on Saturday, headlined by a Derby prep, the Grade 2 Rebel Stakes. And it's their 10th race, the final race that wraps up the late pick 4 that we'll get to here in a minute. Jim, this is a race that doesn't have a horse that I think is going to come out of this certainly as a Derby favorite, but somebody's going to pick up some important points on the road to the first Saturday in May. Where did you land in the Rebel Stakes?
Yeah, there are enough points that probably the winner of this is guaranteed a spot in the Derby. So I landed on Bob Baffert. I hate to do that again, but he seems to own these Oaklawn Stakes in the last few years, and he's shipping Solomini out of the Los Alpecurity Grade 1 win in December, and the horse ran second to Good Magic in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So if he's ready, Flavien Prat comes in to ride, and Baffert just seems to have an affinity for Oaklawn these days. And I think that given the past history of these horses, he looks like a deserving favorite here. I don't think he's a single in the pick 4. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I think there's a couple other horses that have shots in here if they're going to take a step up. Magnum Moon is one for Todd Pletcher, who's 2 for 2 lifetime and really was not even tested at Tampa. It was like a paid workout last time out, called Settled in Hand with a 2-length win at 1-9. So Magnum Moon certainly has the ability to move up. I think Todd Pletcher and Luis Saez are 24%. Todd Pletcher seems like he's 24% of everybody, so he puts him in the right spots. Curlin's Honor, the 2, is an interesting horse for me. Mark Casse has this horse, has had trouble both starts, but managed to win anyway. Won on a sloppy track at Fairgrounds, and his debut here at Keeneland, where he was bumped down the stretch and won. He's been odds on both times, and he could take a move up for Azari. And Title Ready, the one horse, is proven at Oaklawn. Combative to 10 is also somebody I'm going to put in. Stephen Asmussen. This horse has run second 3 times in a row, but to My Boy Jack and Marinho and Gray Vito. So has been right there every time, and a lot of times you see a horse that is almost getting over the edge and comes back with a big effort in a race like this and gets into the Derby. So Combative's going to be included as well. Solomini is my pick, the 3 horse for Bob Baffert.
I am going with Pletcher's horse, Magnum Moon. It's given away a lot of seasoning to Solomini, but I always like that Pletcher angle when he gets one good off an allowance win to jump right into a Grade 2 stake. He's obviously trying to get this horse qualified for the Derby, but it suggests that he thinks that ability is there. I like the 95 debut in the buyer the buyer in the debut. That suggests this horse got some big time talent. Saez is making the trek out to Arkansas to stay on this one, so Solomini's got to be the one to beat. I'm going to try to beat him with Magnum Moon. There's a couple of others that I think are intriguing. Price Place, Title Ready for Dallas Stewart. This horse made a big buyer jump in his 3-year-old debut, and that's an angle I talked about with Flame Away last month before he won a big stake down at Tampa. I always like that angle, so I think that one's dangerous off that big improvement. And High North, Brad Cox is having a sensational year, and he ships this one over from the Fairgrounds rather than stay there. Tries to come in here. Either he thinks it's an easier spot than the Louisiana Derby, or he thinks this is a horse that's ready to fire a big shot here. And so anyway, I think that was a little intriguing. So, but Magnum Moon's going to be my pick in the Rebel. 9th race, the Grade 2 Azari. I couldn't come up with a strong opinion here. I ended up landing on Blue Prize, but I want to spread in the pick 4. I thought she found her best stride at the end of last year, and she's training super, and she's training at Tampa, and that's a deep track, so she ought to be fit. Tiger Moth, Actress, Sandy's Surprise, Martini Glass are all ones that I would use with her and key Blue Prize in exactas here in the Azari, and I'll use probably all of those when we get to the pick 4. How about you?
I love this race. I think there's a lot of options. I can use 5 of them out of the 8 in the pick 4. Tiger Moth and Actress, the 4 and the 1, they both got perfect setups in the race at Sam Houston, the Houston Ladies. And Tiger Moth came rolling down the outside for Angeroux and beat Actress, but got the jump on her. And I think Actress could turn the tables here. But I don't know that they're going to get that perfect setup here. They both came from way out of it. The 3rd place horse also closed, and the speed just collapsed. And Terra Promessa is a interesting alternate here. The horse loves Oaklawn, 5 for 9. Hasn't been on top of her game lately, but she was second in the Apple Blossom last year at Oaklawn, and she ran in this race and ran behind Streamline. think she might be the controlling speed in here. Martini Glass certainly has a shot. Followed up that strong Houston win with a win in the Grade 3 Royal Delta. So Blue Prize also won the Grade 2 Fall City by 8. I can use all those horses in here. I would say that if you made me pick a winner, I'd say it's Actress, simply because of back class coming from those Grade 1s last year. Actress is my pick there, but I could go a little deeper than pick 4.
Take us to the Essex, the 8th race, ungraded, but nice field there, big field. Who'd you land on?
Oh, I like this one, too. My note has all kinds of options here. The top pick is Leo Frick, the 7-horse for Brad Cox and Louis Saez. Brad is hitting at a 30% clip this year. This horse is 4 for 5 at Oaklawn. I think will be the deserving favorite, but I think Dazzling Jim, Brad Cox's other horse, coming off a 98 buyer and had a triple-digit buyer in this race last year and got beat by More Spirit. Thirst for Life had a good second at Fairgrounds in the mine shaft, and Leo Frick just nipped him here at on January 14th in a prep race. Multiplier, the 11, has a lot of back class, was in the Triple Crown last year, and Hedge Fund, the 2 for Fletcher and Ortiz. Second in the Illinois Derby last year, 2 Multiplier, and then had a perfect prep at Gulfstream. Has the looks of a $25,000 offer claimer. Guarantee you that was a setup for this race. So I can use all of them here. Leo Frick is my pick, but it wouldn't surprise me here if Brad Cox ran 1-2.
I end up going to Hedge Fund off the Pletcher angle, second off the layoff, and I'm like you. I think he's primed for a move forward off that debut race here in 2018. The 2 California shippers, I've got to use Dallimore and Multiplier, and then the 2 Brad Coxes that you mentioned, Leo Frick and Dazzling Jim. So Hedge Fund's going to be my key horse playing within the race, but we'll get to the pick 4 because I'm going to spread in both the 8th and the 9th. The 7th race starts the late pick 4. It's a non-winner of one other than for 3-year-olds, and I'm going to single Ike. This is a Baffert horse that he's putting on the plane along with Solomini, and when he sends those extra horses in for big days, they're usually really dangerous. So I'm going to single Ike, take a stand there, use all 5 that I mentioned in the Essex and the Azari, and then in the Rebel, I'm going to take Magnum Moon, Solomini, and I'm going to throw Title Ready in as well off that big improvement. So that's 5 with 2, 5, 8, 7, 11, with 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, with 1, 3, 4 for my pick 4 ticket. How about you?
Well, you and I certainly didn't talk about this one because I've got a different single in the first race. I understand the Baffert angle. I got Mito. I love that horse. The 9 horse caught an off track last time out. Got a terrible start. Almost went to his knees. Coming off his maiden win, he was well regarded, and one of my clerks at the Red Mile placed a $100 win bet on him at Vegas when I was out there in February. So he's got $100 for Mito to win the Derby at 100-1. He's got to move up. This is a 6-furlong race, so it looks like to me Asmussen has decided this horse is a sprinter. I would doubt, but it may be setting him up for the Arkansas Derby. Who knows? I think Mito is a standout there. Ike certainly is a challenge. First time against winners, shipping from California. I'm going to take a stand against Ike, so I'm going to use Mito as a single. So 9 with. And then in the 8th race, the Essex, I'm going to use 2, 5, 7, 9, 11 with Hedge Fund, Dazzling Jim, Leo Frick, my top pick, Thirst for Life, and Multiplier. In the 9th race, the Azari, great race. I love the 1, 3, 4, 7, 8 in that race with Actress, Terra Promessa, Tiger Moth, Martini Glass, and Blue Prize. So 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 in the Rebel with Title Ready, Curlin's Honor, Solomini, Magnum Moon, and Combatant. There's my 10 horse for a $62.50 ticket.
And I will say, if you favor my pick 4 ticket, you might want to consider, if your budget allows, throwing my toll in there, because my ticket is $37.50 for 50 cents. You can take it to $75 by just adding my toll in the first leg, because Jim and I both have different singles that we like to start off the late pick 4. Let's go to Turfway Park, the Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes, and this is their Derby prep, a mile and an eighth here, which is a little bit of a different dimension. Where did you go?
Well, it's a different dimension, and it's a different racetrack. A lot of these horses haven't raced on synthetic, so it's always a puzzle here. I'm like you on the Rebel. I don't see any Derby horses in here that are going to be serious contenders, but it's a very well-rounded race. I think the Battaglia might come back a little weak. I watched it back a couple of times, and Magical Meister won it at 39-1, and Sky Promise came from like 20 lengths out of it. And Arawak just simply didn't fire. So although I'm going to use a couple of those in my pick threes and pick fours, I'm not going to take them on top. In my trifecta on the race. I think Sky Promise, mile and eighth ought to be right up his alley, but he hasn't run that well. That was his best race ever, first time on synthetic. So he may move up off that effort. But if he comes flying like he did there, he's going to run them all down. I'm going to use Pony Up as my top pick for Todd Pletcher. He has a knack of putting him in the right places. This horse ran second to Flame Away, only got beat a neck in the Kitten's Joy at Gulfstream. Turf form usually translates well to synthetic. Pletcher took a shot with him in the Holy Bull, and he didn't run a step. So I think he might be trying to get him to the Derby, maybe by the back door or something. It looks like a pretty good spot here if he likes a synthetic. The three-horse, Archegos for Michael Dickinson, always intrigues me. Michael Dickinson's a great trainer. Doesn't have that many horses anymore, but this horse comes off a couple of good efforts at Woodbine on the synthetic, including the Gray Stakes, a grade 3 that he won by over 2 lengths. So I think he's got a shot. Has it the 7 for Pletcher, ran the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year off a kind of a weak effort at the Champagne. He obviously thought a lot of him. Had a great prep race at Tampa, so it sets him up well. Pletcher could run 1-2 in here. And then write a comment for Mark Casse, just the fact that Mark Casse, when he gets them going, they stay going well, and this horse is on 2-race win streak. Pony Up's my pick. I'm going to use Sky Promise the 1, Magical Meister the 5, Write a Comment the 11, and Haze It the 7, or Has It, I guess is the 7, underneath in Exacta Wheels and Trifecta Wheels.
I'm going to use Has It for my win pick in here. I like the fact that Pletcher put this horse in a grade 1 off a maiden win last year, making the second start off a layoff, and he's got 2 in here that he's probably hoping to get at least one of them qualified for the Derby. So I'm going to take Has It just off that high opinion they obviously had of this horse as a 2-year-old. Pony Up, Ride a Comet, the Dreamer's Point, 4, 11, and 9 are the others that I like in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, but going to take a bit of a stand with Has It for Todd Pletcher. That's going to do it for this edition of the In the Money podcast. Best of luck on the 2 Derby preps and other races that you might be playing while you're watching basketball this weekend. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach on the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Thank you, Shannon. Can you put that in Dropbox, or you want to just email it?